Hello everybody. Today I have an Abomination build for you guys. This build is going to be using a symbol Abomination. That is going to be the only minion and the only source of damage out of this build. Scary, I know, for relying solely on a symbol Abomination. As you can see here, I have set up Dread Shade, which is going to empower our Abomination. Infernal Shade, which is also going to empower our Abomination. Transplant, which is going to get us out of sticky situations and also slightly empower our Abomination. Then we have our symbol Abomination, of course, and then we have Bone Curse, which is what we're going to use to assemble the Abomination. So let's get right into it with the skills. As you can see, we got Abomination here. What you're going to want is you're going to want this engorgement skill. This is going to be more damage per minion consumed, and this is where we're going to get a lot of the damage for our symbol Abomination and get them up there hitting nice and hard. And after we get that, we're going to be coming down here to get increased minion consumption speed and consumes 2 minions. So that way we can, actually consume the minions that we need in, a nice manner of time. In case we're in any sticky situations, you won't have to continually upkeep Abomination. It should last pretty well once you've gotten this build to a fairly good point. And after we get these, we're going to go ahead and get the decreased health decay. Who cares about the less damage? We'll negate that out with this more damage here, and then we'll get the increased melee area to give the Abomination some clear. Now when we can tweak these a little bit, go for more survivability on the more health, or the decreased health decay, take point out of here, maybe get some more increased melee area, and we can increase our damage with gear and make some tweaks like that if we need to. Really depends on you. I find this to work pretty well for me, and I find it beneficial to have just a little bit of this melee area and then also have all this damage and not worry too much about the survivability, as he does last quite a bit. For Dread Shade, we're going to be coming down here and grabbing the Doomed Wraith and Egoism to give our minion always crits. That way our Abomination is always hitting as high as he can, and also to give more damage here. We'll get this more damage here. We don't care about aura buffs or any other minions. We don't have any other minions. We're going to grab this increased attack speed here. We don't care about the blind. We're always going to be critting. And we're going to take the increased attack speed here. And I take this more damage and put 1 point into this increased buff effect. But you could take the additional 2 points out of here, save on that health decay and allow your Abomination to last a little bit longer and allow him to tick slower as his health bar is declining, and utilize some of that less HP. As this says, it increases the buff effects, which will then empower your Abomination a little bit more. I haven't really seen the need for that. I think the damage is quite fine where it's at, and so I just kind of stick it on here and don't really care about the survivability too much, but you have that option. For Bone Curse, I use it purely for Bone Prison and this HP here. How this synergizes is we get 3k HP, we get a base of 500 on each segment, and then we get 2500 added on each segment, so it gives us 3000 HP for each segment of wall. I think we get 19 segments of wall, and that allows us to assemble our Abomination with the maximum amount of HP possible, and also gives him an insane amount of damage. If we're getting 19 minions plus 20 minions times 15 there, so quite a bit of more damage added with this engorgement node here. The rest of this doesn't really matter too much, as we're not going to be casting Bone Curse too often, and so you can kind of utilize these points in a different manner. Maybe you find usage out of something else on this tree, but this is kind of what I went with here. Transplant, we're going to be taking it for the single bone minion here on Transplant, increased minion damage and bone armor. The rest of these nodes aren't really too useful You know, maybe the mana, if you're ever missing it. I don't really ever find myself having mana issues, so the rest of this, not really too much of a big deal. So Infernal Shade. Now this is the money here. We're going to be taking all the minion increases here. We're going to come down here and grab the demonic possession, and we're going to want to grab the infinite duration and the haste, then come down and grab the slow chance, and then finish it off with the mana efficiency and cast speed. And that's pretty much what we're going to want here. And that's pretty much going to be empowering our minions more on top of Dread Shade. And as you know, both these are going to be draining this health, and as you know, Abomination already drains a bunch of health rapidly over time. With the amount of HP that we're getting from our bone prison segments, this will not be a problem in which you have to like continually assemble this Abomination over and over again and upkeep them too much. You can, depending on how high you get your minion health up, you can spread them out over, you know, 2 to 3 monoliths if you're rushing them. Arena runs if you're rushing them. Arena waves, you can get, you know, 2 to 3 sets of 5 if you're rushing them. I usually do it after every set or after every monolith just to be safe. But yeah, those are your options there. For the passive tree and Acolyte, we're going to be grabbing this node here. Really, any of these nodes work. Preferably would pick up the damage, as this armor probably isn't going to do too much for you. Vitality here, we want this increased minion health, so this is very important. We're going to take the attack speed here, and then I throw it on this minion armor, 3 per level. 300 armor just off the bat at the start. It doesn't hurt, might as well take it whenever you, I mean, sorry, not off the start, but whenever you get to max level 300 armor, might as well take it. So not really much else to put a point in, and 300 armor is quite a bit for 1 point. For this, we're going to be taking the minion attack speed here, the health here, the regen here, and go up to this health here, and get this minion melee physical damage here, the attack speed, the critical strike leeches health, and then we're going to come up here and get the crit multiplier. We can get this flat damage here, and then fill out, you know, as you're going through this tree, just kind of get enough to get points in each one. You want to fill out your minion health points first, and then come in and fill in with the attack speed, the damage nodes here, and you want all this melee physical damage here, and then the as I said, just go in the order that I said before. You just don't have to fill out all these nodes, you know, before moving on to the next one. Just fill them all out, increase and get all the nodes up to the top, and then just start filling out the ones at the bottom. And I'm going to be finishing off with probably this Aegis Fall. I don't really see any need for anything else, but yep, those are the passives for this build. As far as idols go, we're going to be looking for the minion physical damage idols. These preferably the ones that have the larger rolls, and then just fill in, I mean, with whatever helps you in the secondary affix. So that's pretty much all you want for the idols. As far as gear goes, what I am running here is more defensive setup. I have this Beast King here. We're taking it purely for the minion health. I don't know if there's any other weapons that roam minion health, but this one does, and then it also gives you 8% less damage taken if your minions have killed recently. That's fine with me. And then also minions take 25% less damage if you killed recently, which we will with Infernal Shade every once in a while. It's just bound to happen. A lot of small mobs get killed with this, so our Abomination will be taking less damage, which counteracts our Death Rattle here, as it, you know, says that we take 22%, or the minion takes 22% increased damage, but this counteracts it, and we get that, you know, that multiplier 161%, which is insane. Allows us to do a lot of our damage, as we're always critting with Dread Shade. For the rest of our gear, you want to fill out kind of just your defensive nodes, I mean your defensive affixes, so you know, your elemental resist, physical resist, whatever resist you want to focus on. Get your dodge in there, your crit strike avoidance, your movement speed on your boots, and then we want minion health. As you can see on like all my pieces of gear, I have minion health, minion health, minion health, right? And that's going to be the main staple of our build to keep it really high HP and keep it to sustain and last long throughout our Monoliths, arena runs, whatever. I also took this physical damage leeches live. I don't know how beneficial that is as of yet. I feel like there may be a better setup in just going defensively for either myself or adding more damage for the Abomination. More than likely going to be going the defensive route. But yeah, that's pretty much what you want for your gear here. And as you can see, I don't really have too good of gear, but this is kind of what I was dealt with as I built this, so it is what it is. Other options, if you do fill out your defenses or feel like you don't need certain defenses, you can swap out your rings here for Ribbons of Blood, which as you can see gives pretty good boost to your Abomination, and this will increase damage quite a bit, as well as gives you a little bit more health, and your minion can't be crit. So gives you some good defense on your Abomination yourself, and also you know, leech and flat fizz damage for your minions. So these are very good options if you have the space to kind of sub these in. Alrighty, and as far as the build and how it's played, I can go ahead and show you on the dummy here, and then I'll put some gameplay in later. But what I typically do is I like to start with a Transplant, throw down Bone Curse, and then just go ahead and spawn our Abomination, assemble him with the Bone Prison. As you can see, we got our big man here, and we go ahead and just throw our shades on him. And we can see him just whacking away here. Getting wild. And he's hitting quite a bit on this dummy. And all you have to do is keep the Dread Shade up and ensure that it stays up. I mean, he won't be doing this much damage, obviously, in Arena, Monolith, or anything like that. But you keep the Dread Shade up, and he just keeps that crit and that same damage for using the crit multiplier from Death Rattle, and he does a lot of damage. As you can see, we got this health tick continually increasing. This is also has health decaying. Also, the Infernal Shade that's also increasing as time goes on, because it just, you know, keeps going forever. You can reset Infernal Shade by casting it again, and as you can see, it was doing 500 and 700 damage. That was our Infernal Shade, the 700 damage that was ticking upwards. If I recast it, it resets the damage dealt, but also resets the attack speed and move speed bonuses, so keep that in mind. So if you want to get a little bit more survivability of your minion and you feel like he's dying too fast, you can throw on that Infernal Shade again to kind of reset the damage that's being dealt to your Abomination. Now you're seeing him die. He's not dying very fast. You also have to think that as he's attacking, he is going to be leeching. So we can get him, you know, leech right back up. He won't be doing this much damage and leeching this fast. Obviously, he can last a lot longer attacking this dummy, but even in Monoliths and Arena, he'll be lasting for quite a bit. You can see that the health decay, it takes a while for it to catch up, but it does. But he does last quite a while, so you won't have to worry too much about it. With this build, leveling may be an issue if you're trying to level with solely the Abomination. There's a lot of stuff that synergizes within the skills, so you do need high levels on these skills to kind of get them to work effectively. I'd recommend, you know, leveling some of these skills with another minion skill or whatever, then subbing it later in game, so you can breeze through the Monoliths, Arena, whatever you want to do. I have pushed this currently with the gear that I showed and everything here to about 120, 130 waves in the Arena. Once the gear is perfected and I have that defense side set up, I'll be able to push a lot further. I feel like Monoliths pretty simple. You just kind of rush through them, so that way you can get to the end and have this man just slap whatever boss forge that you're gut cleansing, whatever, just smack it to oblivion a couple times and boom, bada bing, you're done. But anyways, that's the build. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, just leave a comment. Please be sure to like, and yeah, y'all enjoy this build, and here's some gameplay. Thanks, y'all. Peace.